I want to do a short video just to talk about the technical side of the Danú setup. A few people have asked us how we tour and what we use, so I think it's nice to do a little explaining video. So we're going to start over here, and the center of the whole setup is the digital console. And unlike a normal digital console, this is a rack mounting console. There's no faders, there's no individual control. This is purely a brain that controls the sound. So all our inputs come in here. We also have the output section, so all the outputs. And just to explain the way we monitor the sound for the band is everyone is on in-ear monitors. So every pair of outputs here is an in-ear, stereo in-ear mix for an individual member. And obviously all the inputs are the individual inputs from different things. I also have a Bluetooth controller here that controls the pre-show audio, because I will be remotely sitting in the audience, normally with an iPad controlling the sound. We also have some wireless in-ear systems here for some of the members that need to move around. And then obviously the last part of the front of house system is the iPad, and we have the program that controls the sound, and it works well for us because we can individually control everyone's in-ear mix. We can memorize that, so when we recall the next show the next day, we have a good starting point for everyone to work from. So that's the kind of control section. Obviously it's all very compact because we have to be able to fly with this. So that's why we don't rack anything up. We're in two very small cases over here. So everything that we need for our sound fits into those two cases. So we'll go around each individual setup here. We can have a look and see what everyone's using. Bouzouki, Eamon. So Eamon has a DPA mic on the Bouzouki, on the instrument itself. He also has a pickup on the instrument. Both of those then go through this Neve preamp, stereo preamp. I take the two signals, mic and DI, separately. He also has a foot switch so he can mute the mic, which is important when he's not playing or when he's tuning that the mic is not in the system and I don't have to mute it in the front of house. We also have his own vocal mic here, SM, what is that, 87. That's Eamon's vocal mic. We move over to the fiddle. The fiddle, again, DPA microphone, going through a Neve preamp with a switch for him to mute. Very similar, works very well. And obviously he has his Beta 58 vocal as well. Now, very simple, she has her own vocal mic, obviously. Her Nyman KM104. Great vocal mic. Great for Nell, great for any female vocalist particularly, I find. And then we're going to move over to Benny's setup here. Benny's interesting, so he's using ear trumpet, Edwina, this one, is it? Yeah, Edwina on the melody end of the instrument. And on the basses, we're using a small little condenser mic which sticks to the thing here, and that goes through this footboard. So we've got a little preamp here, and we've also got a sub bass. So I'm taking two separate outputs, one from the preamp and one from the sub bass. So that allows me to separate the basses so we can get different tones for different things. And we also got a Beta 58 for vocal, and obviously this is one of our hardwired in-ear packs here, which sits on the chair. So because Benny obviously doesn't need to move around too much, so we can work with a hardwired. It makes life a little easier, because in some venues you can have problems with frequencies, availability of frequencies for wireless. We move over to Tony's setup here. Tony's setup again. We've got KM, what's that one? KM100 on the guitar. He also has his pickup, very like the Bouzouki, going through. He's got a couple of pedals here for different tones or for sub bass. Goes through the Neve, stereo again, two separate outputs, one for the mic, one for the pickup. Gives me two channels, gives me a little bit of control. So that's really works well. And then we've got on the riser, Billy's drum setup is also kind of similar in that we're using an AKG mic on the drum. He's got two different drums, both on the same microphones, both going through similar Neve preamps, separate outputs again, switches to switch them on and off. We've also got his mandolin with his DPA, again going through a little preamp there, and with a separate switch. So again, I've got individual control on each instrument, and he can himself switch them on and off. And we've also got a vocal mic for Billy. And last but not least, Ivan. So Ivan's setup is also kind of custom. We've developed this over a period of time, I suppose, and trying out different microphones. I mean, the pipes are a complex instrument acoustically, and he likes to use the whole instrument, as in the regs, the drones, and the chanter. So we've settled on a ribbon mic for the chanter, a Royer, very good mic. That goes through a cloud lifter, which brings up the level, which is good for us for live, because they don't have a huge amount of level on the microphone, so that gives us an extra 30 dB of level into a switch and out to the desk. And then on the drones we have the DPA again, and that's going straight in through a switch again, so he can switch it on and off. And between those two mics we get a very good proximity sound on the pipes. He maneuvers the mics, and he maneuvers the position of the instrument so that he can get the full sound of the instrument between those two mics. We've also got the Beta 58, which we use for flute and whistle. And that's, again, it all works really well for us. And it gives us a lot of control on the sound, because basically we're only sending a stereo signal from my console to the house. So we just tune the house and generally keep the mix that we have on the board. Subtle changes from night to night, but nothing dramatic. That's it. That's our setup.